Welcome everyone to PhD 20 on YouTube and a little bit of a rant. So, oh boy, how do I even want to start this? First of all, technology and gaming is what this is going to be about. I'll just tell you straight up. And I'll talk a little bit about my background with that and what exactly I'm talking about. As always, I love to do these Q&A style. So if you have contributions to this rant, to this little talk we're doing, or general questions, just throw them in the chat and I'll be watching. Do not leave a comment on the video. Again, I'm not sure if YouTube lets you on live events anymore. Put it in the actual chat and that way I'll see it. But so I'll talk about technology and gaming, and this rant might be a little bit different than you're expecting. I'm not going to sit here and talk about should you use technology at the table. That's not what this is about. I'm a firm believer in game masters, dungeon masters using technology at the table. I'll give some examples of what I use, but I'll also talk a little bit about what players use. And, we can talk about should you allow technology at the table, but this is going to be more so about the state of technology available to use at the table for tabletop RPGs or in online games. You're going to see that this is not specific to just playing face-to-face or at a table. So first of all, what do my games look like? We'll talk about what my games look like so you can get an idea where I'm coming from. And when I run or when I DM, I'm very, very into using technology, but only to the point where it does not interfere with the story or to where it does not get in the way of things. Because while technology is great, it's extremely powerful. It can get in the way if you don't use it right. So what I use at the table, I set up, I've got my Dungeon Master screen. I love to use a screen, not to hide roles like I've said before, but to kind of hide my notes, my maps, and organize my area of the table because I need more for all the stuff that I have. What's behind that screen tech-wise, my laptop, which I'm filming on right now, I use that for the majority of things. I've got a spreadsheet on there for like the parties, the treasure they have, their equipment, because we track a few other things in there. So if they ever have questions, they can reference that. I've also got Obsidian Portal pulled up. We'll talk more about that here in a second. So I've got basically my world is on my computer. It's on the internet, but I need my computer to access the actual stuff, the stuff that makes my world. These are imaginary worlds. So the only stuff that really exists is wherever you put that information down. So computer, occasionally I will use a phone, but not to look at. I think that's very distracting when somebody's sitting there looking at a phone in front of you. That's, not good. The only thing I use my phone for is an app called DMDJ. It plays like soundscapes and like music designed basically for D&D and tabletop RPGs. That's the only thing I would use this for, is to plug it in for sound, music, audio effects. Occasionally, I used to send like a text to players if there was something private that I only wanted one of them to know, but now I've got the ability on my computer to actually message them straight to their phone or wherever. So I just use the computer for that, cutting out the phone. So really don't use it much. Most of the time I do the music from the computer as well, just to simplify things. But I've also got an iPad behind the screen. The reason for the iPad is it's a quick reference to PDFs that I have rather than having a million things up on my laptop and searching through them. A good example is player rolls a critical fail or a critical hit. On my iPad, I pull up Captain Gothnog's critical hits chart, and boom, right there, I've got the PDF. It's easy to read on a tablet, and so that's what I use that for, as well as occasionally I'll have pictures that I want to show the players. So rather than pick up my computer and turn it around and show them, I'll pull it up in my Google Drive on the iPad. I'll describe the scene first, then I'll kind of show the iPad around, and then I'll actually pass it around if they want to take a closer look, either at like a location or a person or whatever. And so that's what I use the iPad for. Now, that's in-game at the table. Part of this discussion I'm going to have tonight is using technology outside of the game for prepping a game, for world building, for organizing your campaign. Like those are the big hits that we're going to talk about. And so, like I said, part of this takes place at the table, part of it doesn't. And again, it's not an argument of should you use technology. I think if you use zero technology, both at the table and preparing or outside of games, I think you're missing out big time on some really powerful tools. Again, not judging. I know a lot of people just straight up pen and paper, pencil and paper, and that's fine, especially in game. Like it doesn't bother me at all. That's your thing. Out of game, I know there's some people that still just do that, but most people use a computer for something, especially anybody watching this who's in the online community. I'm sure they're using it for something. So first of all, post in the chat what you use at your table. Post in the chat what you use outside of your table. How do you build your sessions? How do you prepare your sessions? How do you world build? Do you use like I use a lot of like Google Docs, the sheets, all the Google Docs, pretty much all of them, slides, docs, sheets, all those. I use Obsidian Portal, which is a website we're again going to talk about. Some positive, but some negative also. I use that, and then I'm trying to think of what else I use. There's really not any other main tools that I use outside of those two. Google Docs is so powerful as a tool to organize and have all this stuff basically in there, and it's very dynamic. So again, post what you use in the chat there, and we can discuss those if you want. But really, the heart of this is my disappointment in the lack of quality like technology for tabletop RPGs. And I say that there's dozens, there's probably hundreds of different things you can use. Apps like the one I mentioned, like DMDJ or character sheets or like a dice roller app. Then you have campaign management tools like Obsidian Portal, campaign running tools like Roll20. You have Realmworks, which I've recently looked a little bit more into for organizing like a world and campaign. There's other ones coming out like World Spinner. Talk about that in a second. So there's all these, there's no lack of tools per se, yet there is a lack of tools. I think I said that right. A lot of the tools out there are good for what they are, but there are no like standout, super high quality websites or tech for tabletop RPGs. Like I'll just say it. Like let's run through them. So Realmworks, for instance, is an extremely powerful tool. I've watched the reviews. I've watched like the tutorials on it. I've seen everything that it can do. Probably not everything, but I've seen a good majority of what it can do, and it's extremely powerful. I've talked to people who use it and seen examples of what they've done with it. And again, it's something that's one of the best things out there for campaign management. But at the same time, and pardon me, it's only for PC. And I'm going to throw that out there. I realize that a lot of people use PCs. I have a PC. It's old enough that I don't want to dig it out because I use my Mac for just about everything. And I'd rather not pull out another computer just to use a single program. And to their defense, I've talked to the guys at Realmworks. They designed it originally with the intent of having the capability to build a Mac platform as well, fairly quickly. However, some of the design decisions they made in the original process actually kind of boxed out that option. Some of the routes they went with like the framework actually made it a lot more difficult. So they still have plans to release a product for Mac users, but it sounds like it's going to be more browser-based, which is another thing. Browser-based, I really like browser-based. I'd rather have that than a program on the computer for a lot of reasons. But So you've got a fantastic RealmWorks product that's only for PCs. You have, I think, a one-time fee to buy the product, but then there's fees, if you want to use their cloud-based service, which is fine. Like pricing and fees and structures, like pricing structures, don't bother me near as much as just the sheer lack of good product out there. And again, RealmWorks is a fantastic product that can be used in a lot of good ways. But I think with where technology is, the capabilities that we have as programmers and coders, like technology is here, right? So you would expect like tabletop RPGs to be maybe halfway there, right? Because it's not like a mainstream thing that's going to attract like the best programmers, the best designers. It's just not, unless it's a hobby and a thing they love to do. But I feel like tabletop RPGs have fallen way underneath that with the products that have come out. So again, RealmWorks, powerful. Once you've got it, once you kind of figure it out and use it long enough and get all your stuff in there, I think it becomes easier. But again, it's not a very, to me, the videos I've watched and the people I've talked to and seen their product, it's not as user-friendly or intuitive as products could be nowadays. So those are my thoughts on RealmWorks. Again, not bashing them. If they had it for Mac or browser based, I would have it and I would probably use it. It's probably one of the best things that's out there right now. Again, I'm just disappointed in the lack of quality things we have. So moving on to the next one that I use exclusively and I have a lot of experience with is Obsidian Portal. Now, this is an online campaign management tool. Now, RealmWorks, you can build, you input a lot of information into the program. This is a very rundown, watered down version of it, but you can build like connections between different pieces of information and just use really powerful tools that way within the program. Obsidian Portal, on the other hand, you can connect people and pages and things, but it's a giant wiki page setup. So think like Wikipedia, where you'd have multiple pages, or Wikia is another one. You're just linking one page to the next, which is a fantastic tool. It's very simple. But here's my Obsidian Portal rant for the night. Obsidian Portal launched, who knows, 5 or more years ago originally. And they had this online web-based platform. It was very good. It was either free with like their basic set of tools, or you could pay, I think, like $40 a year to become an Ascendant member and have the expanded set of tools. You can upload a map to it. You can actually put like pins on the map, like a Google map, which can actually tie to wiki pages, which is very, very cool. They have to be square, which is a trick to learn. But anyways, a very good set of tools. Then in 2012, 13, I think they did a Kickstarter called Obsidian Portal Reforged. And I think, I don't have the postcard up there right now. I backed it. You've probably seen me wearing the shirt. It's got the dwarf in the middle, like holding a hammer up. I think there's flames. But anyways, they did a Obsidian Portal Reforged, essentially where they redesigned the website to look way better. And they did that. They accomplished that. It looked 100 times better than it used to. They added some new features, some new functionality. But somewhere in the mix, like, I don't know, like half of the Kickstarter promises, or a little bit more, half or a little bit more actually got done. A lot of it still isn't delivered. That was 2013. I'm not sure if they've actually sold the company or if it's the parent company above that's not causing these issues right now. Anyways, within the last 6 to 12 months, there have been a lot of shakeups at Obsidian Portal. A lot of guys have either been fired or left. From my understanding, the guys who are working on it now said that how it was built, the actual code that is Obsidian Portal, wasn't done very well. It did what it was intended to do, but it's not very easy to like have somebody else pick up on and work with. So they were doing a lot of foundational work just on the actual code for Obsidian Portal. But then they were also going to try to deliver on those Reforged promises. I'll be honest, I don't know what promises didn't come through in the reforging. Everything that I needed was there, but within the last year, there's been functionality that was there that has been lost. They had a huge debacle with email notifications not going out, so you could not invite players to a campaign. So if you wanted to use it with your party, you were just shit out of luck. I believe that was fixed within the last few months. Haven't tested it. Anyways, so there was that. I had embedded things you could embed on your wiki page, like a SoundCloud embed. So you could have a certain song there and the players could just hit play at the top of the page and listen to an awesome, theatrical trailer song while reading over your lore or backstory or whatever. And that was really cool. So I had a bunch of those put up. You could also embed YouTube videos. And so I had a bunch of those and they suddenly disappeared. There's just, like, if you go to the Dawn of Truth, which is my most recent Obsidian portal for my Candelure campaign, top of the homepage, there's just a giant blank space. And I could go in and just delete that out because there's supposed to be a SoundCloud player there. But I'm not going to, just because that needs to be fixed. And again, that's stuff that they're aware of, they're working on, but it's just been a disaster. There's been almost no communication from the parent company or from the current Obsidian portal as to when these things are going to be fixed. There was a little bit, if you dig in the forums, a guy said that possibly by February of this year, they'd have the Kickstarter promises done. And again, I work in software, in technology. I get how hard a lot of this is, especially if you're picking up on someone else's product. My company bought another huge company. We basically took on their 15-year-old code base and are working with that to integrate it into our product. It's not easy. I get that, but it's just frustrating when there's no communication with the user, like, at all. Like, we don't do that at our company. And again, it's a very much bigger company with a much wider user base than tabletop RPGs. And that's part of the problem. Again, they're just not, you're not going to attract the best programmers. You're not going to attract the best coders in the world. You're not going to attract a lot of money. That's the other big thing. We'll talk in a little bit, though, how I think we can fix that, because I don't think you should ever bitch about a problem or bring up a problem with a bunch of people without also offering a solution. So at the end of this, I'm going to offer up a solution. We'll see what we can come up with. So, Obsidian Portal. Do I like it? Yes. It's a great tool. It works very well for what I need. But again, it's not fancy. It's not the best thing that we could have for tabletop RPGs, especially with the broken support system and the broken pieces. Even if it was complete and had a support system in line, it's not the best tool you could make. Like, it's very limited in a lot of things. I don't know, just thinking about what we can do in software and technology, why isn't there something better out there? Like, those are the two products, Obsidian Portal and Realmworks, to me, that stand out the most. I don't know, as far as design, as far as what you can do with them. I know there's others. I know there's more independent products as well for campaign management. But yeah, looking at those as the top two products, like, for 2016, we're way behind in tabletop RPGs. Got a comment here. I briefly tried, this is from Jaunty Spider. I briefly tried Hexographer for maps. But all in all, I'm pretty lazy, so paper pencil is what I've done primarily. Haven't really delved too deep. These campaign managers seem cool. Again, they are. I'm not saying, while this is a rant, they're still good products, regardless. Like, they're what we have, so go buy them, go use them. I'm not telling anybody not to. I'm just saying we need something else. In the near future, we need something else. And again, we'll talk about that. But I'm the same way with, like, map making software. That old PC I was talking about that I have has Campaign Cartographer, which again is a very powerful tool. Very powerful, but very, I want to say limited. It's not easy to learn. No, it's a nightmare to learn. And so if you don't have the patience, you're not going to learn it. So it's not one I can recommend, but again, I have a short attention span for that type of stuff. Because a product should also be fairly easy for a user to pick up on. Oh, excuse me. There's a website that I've used, and I'm blanking on the name now. I think you would like Jaunty Spider. But I do a lot of hand-drawn maps too. Love hand-drawn maps. There's a book called How to Draw Fantasy Art and RPG Maps that you should check out. I have that, and it's amazing. Oh, let's see. Where is it? The actual... Why am I blanking on this? I've just used this. If anyone can remember, please post in the chat. Like, this is embarrassing that I can't remember. I did a video and I've done a bunch of maps. There's a very, very easy map making tool online, like super easy to use. Swing back by after the video or something, and I will find it and put it in the description. Can't believe I can't remember that right now. Anyways, let's talk map making real quick. Campaign Cartographer is probably the number one specifically designed for RPGs map making tool. Now, again, it's been around a while. It's a little outdated, if you ask me. It doesn't look pretty. It does not create maps that are stunning by any means. They're very, very limited, just in my personal opinion. So that's been out there. There was a Kickstarter coming called Other World Mapper. I think it was another PC only or something. I haven't seen that. I didn't get it back that in time, but another really simple looking one. So hopefully that springs up. I did back World Spinner. And here's another short rant. World Spinner, at first, when I backed it, I thought it was like a campaign manager in like map making software. And it very well could be. Part of the problem is I really don't know what it is. And it's still not out. I backed that in 2014. And I've got, the Kickstarter sends you update emails, or the company does through Kickstarter. We're on update like 52, I think, 51, 52 for World Spinner. It looks really cool. Looks like it spins up a world, essentially. You pick things you want, and it spins up a map and a world with like different locations. And you click on them, and it'll have like a story or descriptions about that location. Like, it builds a lot of the world for you, which would be a really cool tool to play around with. Beyond that, I don't know. It's been taking way too long on their end. And it's just been a super drawn out process. So again, it could be a great tool, but I don't know. And that's part of the problem. High quality program for using tech in tabletop RPGs would not do that. I have extremely high standards for technology just from working at a tech company. And the thing is, they're not ridiculously high, like they can't be achieved. Like, this stuff with like just hard work and caring, it's not that hard. It's really not. So anyways, Ben Fisher, Incarnate. That's it. Thank you, Ben. Incarnate, Inc, like spelled with a K. Anyways, I think it's might be incarnate.com. Just look up Incarnate, spelled with a K and not a C. Incarnate Map Maker, and start to play around with it. Take your time with it, because the tools are super simple, but you can get really good maps by just taking your time with like the coastlines, and using like a smaller brush to do the coastlines. I hope to do a video in the future detailing that. Anyways, Incarnate is probably the best map making tool, in my opinion, that's out there right now, besides Photoshop. I don't know how to use Photoshop. I'm not proficient with Photoshop, I should say. Photoshop is like the unlimited map maker. There's no limit on how good maps can be with Photoshop. So it's hands down the best. It's just one you've got to know, and it's not extremely easy to learn. But you can learn in chunks, in stages, and over time get better. Anyways, so continuing the rant, where were we? Talking map makers, how there's not really, again, they're not where they could be. But this is more about campaign management, online campaign management, and the tools that we deserve are just not there. Think about your favorite piece of software, your favorite tech company, your favorite websites. Like, think how good they look, how simple they are, but how powerful they are. Think about those things. In my mind, I think of like the tech giants like Google. Again, there's a huge difference in the resources and the people they have compared to what a tabletop RPG program is going to get. But if you just look at what they've come up with, like, we just deserve a better product than we have. And it can be done. There are programmers out there. There are teams out there that can get together and do this. Again, talk more about that in a second. But just the products that are out there, they're not maximizing technology. I'm sorry, this is very hard to put into words now that I've started the stream. I had this all in my head perfectly, but that doesn't mean anything. Realmworks, to me, very powerful tool, doesn't look good. It's a program only for PCs. It's 2016. Like, make a web-based program so that way you don't have to worry about it. That way you don't have to send out, mass updates. What I'd like to see, let's go there because I can verbalize that better. What I would like to see, and what I will help create if I have to, is a web-based platform to start. So a website, so it can be accessed on Macs, on PCs, but a website that is a campaign manager. So we're talking Realmworks, Obsidian Portal as examples. Take those to the next level. More tools, but make it simpler. Make it simpler for the person who just wants to hop on and use it. Have a killer set of tutorials that are extremely simple. Have a killer support team, not team necessarily, but have a killer support setup, because again, that's not hard. And from there, take it and make apps for tablets, for iPads, for phones, whatever. They could be super simple. They could be accessing the information stored on the site. But I think those tools are not out of reach. They're not out of reach. No one's made them yet. I try to keep up on Kickstarter with what's out there. I have not seen anything like I'm talking yet. I think it's going to have to be done through Kickstarter just because, well, you could have a subscription-based service, and I think you'd have to. There's just not a lot of money in this industry. And we're not talking like selling D&D books here. I'm saying in tabletop RPG technology, that is a very niche area that's not going to attract millions and millions of dollars. Not in 2016. But again, it's not out of reach. You've got to get the programmers together, the people who can manage them, the people who've got the ideas. You've got to build a team, no matter how small, that can accomplish this. And then I think it has to be done through crowdfunding, through Kickstarter, paid for by the people who want it, not some big company who's going to invest in it. Let's see, we got some comments here. non-web app in 2016 that is an internal infrastructure tool is just hilarious. Cheers, Ben. Ben, I have a feeling you know a lot about this as well. I don't know what you do for a living. We can talk later, but I think you get at least what I'm saying here. Like, so the company I work for is a sports technology company. We have like video analysis software. It starts on the web. It extends into Android and iOS apps, but just what I've seen, just the further and further I get into this line of work, like I see how not impossible and not hard it would be to ramp up what tabletop RPGs have. Again, it's just not that hard. Like, so here's my proposal. Here's my swinging for the fences proposal. Let's get together and freaking make this, because no one else has. They might, but we have the idea. So if you are Linux systems engineer, there you go. I knew you knew way more than I did. So what I want is, if you are somebody in the areas, if you're a programmer, if you've ever done like QA, if you've ever worked in software or technology in any capacity, even in like support, let me know. In the description, it might already be there. I think I put it in there. If it's not, I will. I'm going to put my email address that you can shoot a direct email at. Then we can talk on Facebook later. But I just want to get ideas from people. I want to get programmers just talking about this and what it could become. And I'm very happy to be a part of this and inject ideas into this, and not like, because I don't have the clear-cut idea of what this needs to be, but I've got a pretty darn good idea, and I've got a lot of data already to back it up. And so I just want to get people talking. If we can get even 5 or 10 people who have some programming and then a couple of really good programmers just talking about this, we could see where we can take it. If we could get together a group of people, and come on, in the RPG Brigade, the Tabletop RPG one-shot group, there are some extremely intelligent people. We could get together with them. We could get together with, there's other companies forming in these groups. We have networking to reach out to a lot of people. So what I'm saying is, if you have any interest in this, any experience, any ideas for it, send me an email just saying you're interested, or send me an email with your ideas, or send me an email saying, screw you, you're wrong. We don't need any more technology. Whatever. Just get talking about it. Because what I'd like to see happen is, again, a small team gets formed, because we've done it before with huge projects and others have done it in the community. A small team gets formed. We go for a Kickstarter, even on a small level, just to get even just a website up. Excuse me. Gain traction, keep going, maybe a bigger Kickstarter, and make the dang product. So that's my extremely unorganized rant for the evening. Just to say, like, there are some really good tools out there, but they are not as good as they could be. Like, we do not have the tools we could. The tabletop RPG technology industry that even exists is extremely behind the times. And it's really starting to piss me off. Like, just because, like, I know what I want in a campaign manager, and I just know it doesn't exist right now. The worst thing about that is that I know it could exist. Is not complicated to come up with something like that. Yeah, it would take a lot of hard work, time, and people who have the skills, but it's not impossible. I can see exactly how it could be done. So Again, if you're watching this, if you've got ideas, hit up my email in the description. If you know others who are into tabletop games or programming, coding of any kind, let them know. Even if they're not into tabletop gaming. Like if you know people who have some spare time just to chat and are top of the line programmers, hit me up, because I just want to get talking about it. This is basically what I'm saying. I think we could put together a team, and I think we could do this, and blow people out of the water with a very simple but powerful tool that people could start using for this. But again, I'm totally open to ideas, totally open to just talking about this and learning what everyone else thinks. Do you think technology in tabletop RPGs sucks as bad as I do? Let me know. I'm interested. If there's no further questions in the chat, I don't have a lot else tonight, and I've already been extremely ranty and ravey and unorganized, so I won't keep you any longer. But yeah, send me an email. Let's get talking about this. Let's get rolling. Let's fix this problem. Let's build something that we could be proud of, number one. But at the same time, we see a problem in the industry, in the hobby. We see a spot, let's fill it. Let's fix it. Because we've got the people who can do it. We just need to. So yeah, signing off. This is Kirk from PhD20. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to your emails.